And Jesus went throughout all the cities and the villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction. And when he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them, because they were harassed and they were helpless, and they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send laborers into his harvest." And what we know a little bit about first century Judaism is that Jesus was a rabbi and he had disciples. And he's traveling through the countryside, he's healing, he's doing these miracles. But man, his heart is just tugged in compassion because of the plight of his people. And he grabs his disciples and he says, "Guys, pray earnestly." There's different kinds of scriptures that we can read. We can come across some scriptures, we can see them as descriptive. It's a history lesson. This happened, and this happened, and this guy did that. And there are other kinds of scriptures that are more what we call prescriptive. Hey, we need to actually look at this as something that we today need to do. I think this passage of scripture is actually both. I think it is a little bit of a history moment. Hey, Jesus saw the crowd, he was moved with compassion, and he gave instructions to his disciples. And we know that disciples are going to do what Jesus says. He says, hey, go and separate the crowd and the multitudes, and separate them by 50s and hundreds. And they went and they did that. You know that story of the feeding of the 5,000. Around the Passion Week, we see Jesus tell his disciples, hey, you're going to go into town, you're going to see a donkey, you're going to see a colt. Tell the owner of that colt that the master has need of him. And there you go, and they go and do that. John chapter 4, hey, we're coming into Samaria. You guys go into town and go to market and get lunch. And the disciples go and do that, right? So we see all throughout Scripture that when Jesus gives his disciples a directive, they immediately go and do that, right? So I have no doubt that, if you go back one more slide there, please, that when we see that Jesus said to his disciples there in the bottom paragraph, I have no doubt that they immediately started doing that. I have no doubt. I don't think that they were like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a platitude. That just feels good. I think we should. No, I think that they said, yes, sir. And they started praying. So I don't think this is just descriptive, and I don't think that this is just prescriptive. If you go to the next slide, I think what's so true that they prayed it then, and we're the answer to those prayers now.